Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, y'all. In today's video, I want to talk about Robert Whittaker versus RDR. Now, this fight right here, it definitely did not go the way how I expected. It was a back and forth battle. This was such a really, really close fight. Now, I see a lot of y'all UFC fans have been saying that got robbed during this fight. Now, it's depending on what type of judges you have there. If the judges care more about grappling and ground control, then yes, you can give it to RDR. But if you're talking about just pure striking, if it was a different judge, like the one that had judged one of the other fights from earlier, they would have definitely given it to Robert Whittaker. Today, even if you look at it in that way, it was still a 40, I think it was 48, 47, 48 for RDR, 47 for Robert Whittaker. So it was like literally Robert Whittaker was 1 point off from being able to have this fight be a draw. It was a really good fight. I'm not even going to lie. I actually enjoyed this fight card. The prelims were really interesting. Today's video, we're here to talk about, obviously, Robert Whittaker and RDR and what is next for both of these men. People who are saying that Robert Whittaker is washed, straight up, I guess we're not watching the same fight because RDR Whittaker did really, really great during this fight. Dropped RDR. He was actually able to crack him. He showed that he's not washed and that he's still a top-ranked contender in the middleweight division. After losing like this, being on a 2-fight losing streak, having to climb down the rankings, they're obviously going to give him somebody else. I don't know who, a top 10, maybe someone who isn't ranked, maybe number 12, number 13, to give another person a chance to get a title shot. But RDR, I really don't see this man being able to become at all with the top contenders at middleweight right now currently. People are trying to say that he's like Drake's Duplessis, but I'm going to have to disagree. His striking is nowhere near close to how Drake's is. Duplessis actually knows how to box, kickbox, switch stances, while this man, his style is more, it's still awkward just like Drake's Duplessis, but his is more based on grappling, not really on striking, as we've seen during the fight. I mean, he got cracked really bad. It just shows that if any of those men at the higher ranking were to touch his chin, they could definitely put him to sleep. I'm not gonna lie. This man's built and frame, he's not built like Izzy, but he's the same height as Izzy. And that's what I feel like that's what really helps him to be able to win his fights. It's his attributes. It's the fact that he's so long and lengthy. He tried to fight the same way how he fights these guys at middleweight, at light heavyweight, would not have the same success. And that's another thing too. People like to call him a weight bully, and it's true. He has to cut so much weight, and I'm so surprised that this man can recover from stuff like that. I'm not even gonna lie. From having to cut from such a big frame to be so big and walking around at that weight class, I believe he cuts from like 200 something. Like, I don't remember the exact number, but it was 200 something. I remember somebody telling me about that. Pretty sure it was another influencer who mentioned it during their video. At the end of the day, I feel like this man RDR is going to be able to go far in the rankings. Really going to be a top opponent and contender in this division. Kyle is very awkward and clearly shown that he has grip, and he ain't letting nobody just take him out like that easily at all. Definitely what I see next for this man, I definitely want to see him maybe fight another a former world champion, maybe Israel Adesanya. I heard that Israel Adesanya was trying to have a rematch with Sean Strickland, and Sean Strickland denied the fight. So I don't think that fight's going to happen. At the end of the day, this man right here could fight. He could fight him. He could fight Sean Strickland. He could fight Caio Borralho, or he could even fight Imavov. Like I told y'all, I feel like those fights will be very, very difficult for him because everyone who has fought Robert Whittaker, who has proven themselves to be better than him, either finished him early, completely dominated him. And RDR did not dominate during this fight. In order to really consider yourself as a real middleweight contender, you have to be able to knock out the former world champions. And that's either Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, or Israel Adesanya, like the same way how Imavov did it. If you can do it in that type of way / fashion, you are definitely a contender at this weight class. At the end of the day, you can't call Robert Whittaker or Israel Adesanya washed. They're just, now, I will say they are older now. Definitely don't have the same speed and reaction time like they did back when they were in their prime. They're still veterans and they have a lot of experience. And can't take them out early, you're going to struggle. a lot with these new contenders at middleweight. At the end of the day, like, I want you to understand that UFC, MMA, and combat sports fans, that this is an ending of a generation, of a legendary generation. Dustin Poirier, I'm going to mention lightweights. Dustin Poirier, Khabib, Gaethje, Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, Francis Ngannou. These men, back when they were fighting as champions and they were being dominant, aren't winning as many fights as they used to. As we know, they're getting older. And even we as fans, I admit to myself, man, like when I first started watching UFC and MMA in general, I believe I started watching when I was in middle school. That was 2018, 2019 for me. And I'm not gonna lie, man, time period of being able to see all those fighters fighting while I was in high school, it was really legendary, like for real, for real. Topic 2, on the night of my prom, Israel Adesanya had a title defense against Cannon. My bad if I said his name wrong. But at that time period, Cannonier was a really good fighter, and he had got himself a title shot. For me, being able to think about those time periods and seeing all these legendary fighters go down, it's like, man, it shows that it's really an end of an era and that a new generation of MMA fighters are on the come up, as we all already know. Ilya Saporia, fighting nerds, they're on the come up, real on the come up, especially them. RDR, as we see right here, but I won't consider him part of the new gen. I'll consider him as part of the old gen, only because of the fact that like this man is much older. But straight up now, the middleweight division is a lot more clear now. The other divisions like lightweight, they're still confused on who they're trying to give a title shot to. Actually know what's going on right now currently. We're about to see Dricus du Plessis fight against Khamzat Chimaev. I've already given my predictions on that fight. It's not going to be an easy fight for Khamzat at all, for both men. But because of Khamzat's relentless grappling, and I feel like he's better on the hands and the feet, I feel like he'll be able to either finish Dricus or win by decision, one or the other. When we see that fight, we're eventually going to be able to see a fight maybe against Khayo or maybe Imavov. But we're definitely going to see a fight with them, with RDR. Those are the 4 men who are right now currently in the title run picture that we have. RDR, we have Khayo Brahio, Imavov, and Khamzat and Dricus du Plessis. I feel like for Robert Whittaker, should fight Sean Strickling. Even though Sean Strickling is way ranked higher than him, we should give Robert Whittaker one more chance. Because of the way how he did during this fight, he would have gotten finished during this fight, like finished like real bad. Then I would have been like, all right, nah, he shouldn't get another chance to be able to fight for the title or be as a ranked fighter, another ranked opponent. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely want to see this man go out there and do his thing again. Definitely sometime soon. Right now, as we can see, the middleweight division is very clear. See y'all on the next video. Assalam. Comment and subscribe.